What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. This is where I want to do a deep dive into the Raptors because it's kind of interesting how good they've been in certain areas and on certain nights versus what the actual end product has been. They're 12th in defensive rating in terms of total points allowed per 100 possessions. But according to Cleaning the Glass, which will filter out to half court as well as getting rid of garbage time, they are the 8th best half court defense. And honestly, what's hurting them in terms of dropping that defensive rating from 8th to 12th comes down to their transition defense, which mostly has to do with offense. They have a lot of long rebounds and a lot of turnovers, right? They are the 26th best team in the league at knocking down three-point shots by percentage, so a lot of long misses, right? And then they are 21st in turnovers per 100 possessions. So lots of turnovers, lots of long rebounds, lots of transition opportunities, right? And that puts your defense in a really precarious position. And they've given up 1.2 points per transition possession, according to Synergy, which ranks 26th in the NBA. Synergy has a more broad scope of transition possessions, which I prefer. Like when you look at just fast break points, fast breaks are more or less just like runouts, like 1-on-0s, 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, and they usually result in really quick shots. But transition basketball usually has more flow than that, right? Like there's a semi-transition phase where the defense isn't set. So I actually prefer Synergy's classification for what counts as a transition possession, just so that you guys know why I use different stats in different situations. But that specifically is what hurts their transition defense, and their transition defense is what hurts their overall defensive rating. As a half-court defense, the reason why they're 8th instead of higher, they don't protect the paint super well. Now, that's not exactly a shocking thing. Jakob Poeltl's a solid defensive player, but he's not the earth-shattering rim protector that you see elsewhere around the league, right? Also, it's about scheme. This team is 8th in half-court defense. Last year, they were 19th, and a big part of it was over-helping. A big part of it was over-trapping, over-aggressiveness, which was very much Nick Nurse's brand, if you guys remember. One of the things you'll notice, they allow only 34 three-point attempts per 100 possessions, which is the 9th best mark in the NBA. It's not a lot of overhelping. It's leaving guys on an island, trusting your individual defenders to do their job. It gives up some layups, but it also prevents the ball from popping around and disrupts the flow of the opponent that you're trying to guard, right? Biggest areas of opportunity that I'm seeing right now on the defensive end of the floor for Toronto is they are a mediocre defensive rebounding team. For how much athleticism they have on the floor, they should be better, especially with all the long rebounds that are available in NBA games. And then they don't force enough turnovers, considering the kind of length that they have. It's something that I'd like to see them do better moving forward. I want to talk about Scottie Barnes for a minute, because this is a guy who kind of stagnated from year 1 to year 2. And a lot of people were specifically disappointed because, coming out of his first year, it was like a lot of smaller version of Giannis who might be a more polished scorer, which could be one of the best players in the league, right? Like that's the type of potential that Scottie Barnes had. And then we came into year 2 and he's pretty much the same player. And so it was kind of discouraging, right? Well, that can go out the window. He's taken a huge leap going into year 3. Career high 19 points per game. Career high 55.3% true shooting. Career high 5.5 assists per game. Career high 9 rebounds per game. Career high 1.6 steals per game. Career high 1.3 blocks per game. And he's having the best jump shooting season of his career. A Scottie Barnes jump shot this year has been worth 1.14 points per shot, which is excellent. He's even got a 48% effective field goal percentage on pull-up jumpers, which is not bad. He had a big pull-up 3 in the second half against the Suns last night where he kind of had the Giannis thing going on where he's bringing the ball up the floor and everybody's kind of backpedaling and he just kind of walked into an easy pull-up 3 and he knocked it down. And that's why kind of in the big picture, which doesn't have anything to do with this particular Raptors team, but in the big picture, I'm really excited to see what Scottie Barnes looks like when they finally surround him with shooting. Because again, this is a team that's 26th in three-point percentage, and you've got a downhill slashing wing who is an excellent passer. Scottie Barnes, there was a play where he attacked out of the left, kind of elbow extended against Jakob Poeltl, hit him with a hard dribble move to the left, and then spun back to the right. And I can't remember who exactly it was that double teamed, but the guard, it might have been, I can't remember exactly who it was. It might have been Jordan Goodwin. Actually, I think it was Jordan Goodwin. And I clipped this play. It's in my thread from this game. Jordan Goodwin does what you're supposed to do when you double team. You wait until the guy has his back turned and it's a live dribble. That's the hardest situation to quickly identify a double and to handle it by making the right pass, right? And he dives down, and Scottie, like, literally is in the spin move, turning, reading the situation, and easily makes a kick out before Jordan Goodwin can do anything, right to Gary Trent Jr., who's wide open, who knocks down the shot. He's actually more advanced as a passer at this point than Giannis was at this phase in his career. And so I'm really, really excited about seeing what this team looks like in the big picture, because as interesting as this version is, which is like all this length, all this athleticism, we're flying around, there's just, freak athletes everywhere. That's exciting. But in the big picture, they're not going to do anything until they put real offensive talent around Scottie Barnes, particularly the guys who can play off the ball. And so I'm kind of excited about seeing in the future what they can build around him in the big picture. Now, as a unit, the Raptors offense has not been good. They're 25th in half-court offense, according to Cleaning the Glass. They are a bottom third ISO team and a bottom third pick and roll team. Anything going kind of downhill towards the rim, because the guys missing shots, and then a lot of the bigger wings struggling to kind of like identify what they're dribbling into, and like getting into 4 or 5 bodies, over penetrating, turning the ball over, taking some really tough like push shots over the top of the defense. The one area they've been really good offense, I shouldn't even say really good. The one area they've been above average on offense has been in the post, and it's a little bit easier for guys to read the floor. They have their back turned, so it's easier for them to protect the basketball. And so they've been a little bit above average there, being led mainly by Pascal Siakam, who actually has been the best post-up player in the league this year, minimum of 50 possessions, 1.19 points per Pascal Siakam post-up possession. Now, one of the things that I appreciate about this Raptors offense is that they have good self-awareness. They know they struggle to score in the half court, so they hunt transition opportunities as much as possible. They actually score off of steals, according to Cleaning the Glass, 1.47 points per possession, which ranks 5th in the NBA. And it's a high volume transition offense. They score 24.2 points per game in transition, according to Synergy, which ranks 5th in the NBA. Now, when I break down a team like that, when there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad, it's like, oh, we're this great individual defense team, but we struggle in pick and roll. We're a great transition offense, but we struggle in the half court. We can post up really well, but we can't knock down open threes, and all these different things. That's what leads to what you see this season, which is a team that hovers around 500. Any particular night, if a bunch of things go right, they can look like world beaters. And then when those the same things go the opposite direction, they can lose even to bad teams. And so, like, I don't really have high expectations for this particular team. They're going to hover around 500. But the leap from Scottie Barnes is super exciting. And I'm particularly excited in the long run to see what Toronto puts around him, especially when they put some more shooting and just higher level offensive talent, because that guy has a chance to be really, really, really good in the big picture.